Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the StoryTime Spotlight. With this episode, we have a repeat releaser with StoryTime who has gotten support from Dr. Fresh, Wookie, and Valley Mo, to name a few. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you FACH. How you doing, bud?
What's up, Matt? Nice to finally meet you, man.
Yes. We're bringing the energy full force. I'm super excited that we finally get to go and talk over Zoom. I mean, me and you have been sending stems back and forth on what we're working on. We've been texting each other, DMing each other, but this is the first time that we're actually talking Zoom to Zoom, face to face, however you want to, say this. But yeah, it's great to finally meet you. I'm super excited. Other than that, I don't know if anyone can tell, over in his neck of the woods, it's dark. Over in my neck of the woods, it is light. We are on the opposite sides. Well, I won't say opposite, but we're on different time zones here. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to do this StoryTime Spotlight with me. I appreciate it. Now,
yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Okay, to start things off, where did you get the name from?
So I mean, when I was going through sports through high school and everything like that, my last name is Facciani, FACC. So it's a super Italian name.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as sports started happening, going on, nobody wanted to say that. Nobody wanted to say my real name, Brian. So then they just started cutting it off. They just kept saying Foch. So since then, that's kind of what I've always been known as. So I've always tried to make it easier by just making it look phonetically like Foch, F-A-C-H instead of the F-A-C-C. As we talked a little bit prior to this, Matt, that's still up for debate for people reading it, which is understandable, but because I've only known it as how I've read it or know my name for my whole life. So it's once I started getting into making music, that was a big shock to me. I thought it was very unique and to the line, but it's I get everything from FAC to FAC, the the old composer Bach.
Right.
And I'm not trying to be like Bach. I don't have half of the talent that guy has.
I feel that.
It's I'm always chasing it down. But yeah, you nailed it with Foch. So so Foch is just a shortened version of
I had to say it over and over to you. I was like, I'm not going to mess this up. I want to make sure I'm saying this right because like we were saying before, I was talking to Dice when we did the San Diego takeover and I was asking him, I was like, how do you say his name? And he let me know. And I'm like, okay, so, I just want to make sure because it is different, but you know what though? Different is also a very unique way. So it definitely stands out, but you know what? It comes and it goes. You got to just roll with the punches at this point. So it is what it is. So, did you start out DJing first or producing?
So I decided I wanted to dabble in DJing before I went head first into everything.
Right.
When I was growing up, I've always liked electronic music. I grew up with Skrillex. Skrillex was the guy who got me into everything.
Yep.
Started going to shows when I was 14. They had all ages shows. So I was seeing Dylan Francis when I was 14, back, I guess 10 years ago now at this point, at 930 Club. So it's I got into music that way. And then from there, I was I'm very frugal. So I wanted to get into producing, but the thought of paying for everything up front, which it seemed like at the time was a big upfront cost compared to me just purchasing. I think the first controller I had was just a SB2, so a Pioneer SB2, which I used off my laptop in school. So I would just do some shows at school and got really comfortable with that. And I was like, all right, when I graduate, I'm going to finally start learning how to produce. So that was the long-term goal. So I've been DJing now for about 5 to 6 years, and producing for about a year and 2 or 3 months now.
Yeah, well, for the short period of time that you've been producing, you have been making some hits. I'm not going to lie. My first year of producing was garbage. It was absolutely nothing. I think I have one track up on my SoundCloud, debating on taking it down right now. But the fact that it's only been a year and you're actually making the music you're making, and it's very it sounds thick, it sounds professional, everything sounds well
Thank you.
balanced when you're sending me over music. And not only that, for you only being producing for about a year and 2 months, and you getting support from Dr. Fresh and Wookie and other people, like that's a huge goal for a lot of people to get support by these guys. And you've only been, you know, technically producing for like a year and 2 months, like you were saying. So hey man, you're on the right track. So good shit. So I like to hear.
Thank you.
So
Yeah,
what DAW do you produce on?
so once again, very frugal. If I would go back in time, I would 100% be on Ableton.
Mm-hmm.
I would, if I'm sitting here today, a year ago, with what I know, I would have never bought FL. I still love the program.
Mm-hmm.
I still love how its workflow is because it kind of works with my brain. But yeah, I do regret not being on Ableton. So that's my only thing. But I do actually really love FL Studios. And as a business nerd, I work in spreadsheets all day long, and Excel is basically like me coming home and using basically music Excel
Right.
is what it looks closely to me.
Right.
Um, so it's like me just like sitting there like, oh, okay, instead of a formula here, here's like a riser or here's like a snare roll. Like it's just like piecing together to make it, as dumb as that sounds and is like not musical as that is.
Right.
Um, that I mean, like I guess that's how my brain works now, looking at FL all day and then
Yeah.
also looking at shitty spreadsheets all day.
Yeah,
So
I
I don't
feel
know.
that. I feel that. But you know what though? Don't beat yourself up over it because a lot of talented producers are using FL. There's
Yeah.
no diss against FL. There's no diss against Logic, Cubase. I mean, obviously Ableton is the more like popular one that everyone uses. I know I use Ableton, but then again,
Mhm.
I started on Logic. I just kind of just found somebody who was actually able to help me get to Ableton and then figure out, you know, how to get stuff done and like a little show and tell type thing. But you know what? Don't beat yourself up over it. You're making great music, and if it's just purely off
Thanks.
FL, don't be too hard on yourself. Definitely don't be. So when you're making your music, who do you, the better wording of this is where do you get your inspiration from?
I mean, this might be like kind of a corny answer. I get a lot of inspiration from a lot of my friends and people I work with and talk to on a daily basis. Just getting inspired, like getting excited to show friends tracks, people I've met just in my like short time producing, people I talk to, like every day. Like I said, I know that sounds kind of corny, but like I really do get excited to shoot over a friend of mine like a new track that I'm working on just to see what they're thinking,
Yeah. Oh,
to
most
uh,
definitely.
to
That's a great
see.
feeling.
Yeah, no, and it's like I get excited too when I see the same thing back to me or vice versa. If someone shoots me over tracks, I get like amped to hear it because it's like I want to support all my friends. It's like the thought of my friends like achieving what they want to do that like jacks me up, that makes me excited to keep producing.
Yeah.
So just like really like I get super motivated and inspired from like people I talk to every day.
Yeah, there you go. It's not cliche. That's actually a very great answer. You know, they say that one of the biggest things that they say is you become like the 5 people you hang around the most. So whoever you're hanging around, if they're giving you that inspiration to make the music you're making, and keep doing what you're doing. Keep hanging around with them, and don't lose sight of that because that's a great group of friends to keep around you. So, what type of artist, though, would you say you get inspiration from, or that you kind of listen to a lot, where you kind of feel like you're kind of digging their style and you're kind of gravitating with what they're making as well?
I'd say right now, I think that No Thanks and Blue Claire are like the cutting edge of house music right now.
Mhm.
I think what they're pumping out is disgusting. I want to be like a quarter of as good as they, like I like everything down to like their mixing to their sound design, and even with Blue Claire, like the simplicity in his tracks, but it still feels like elevated to another level. So I'd say those guys a lot, and then a lot of my style. I feel like I also like still the dark and grimy. I think G House might need a revival soon. I think that it's kind of
Yeah.
due for one. So still people like Mala really inspire me. Obviously, like Dr. Fresh, people that have been in the game for a very very long time doing that style as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anything from the cutting edge to the dark and grimy, but also everything kind of in between. If it catches my ear, I'm all over it. So even like
Okay.
Knock Two is killing it right now. His new EP he just put out is insane. So
Yeah,
even
I
people
really
like
like
that.
Dash Star by him. I think that's
Oh yeah,
like a classic, and it hasn't even been out that long, and it's already a classic. So
absolutely.
let's say you're making music. What do you feel like can kill your inspiration for when you're in your studio making your music?
I think for me, it's kind of a hard question because I at this like I hate deadlines to some degree when it comes to creative work. So there's been times where I might have been under a deadline with music, whether I put it on myself or an outside source.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I I like the pressure too. So it's like that's one of those things. Like I would say that kills my inspiration, but at the same time, it can also fuel it too. It
Right.
puts me in like a different gear too. So just like knowing like this is like that stuff's got to go. Like let's start working on things. Or like I don't know. I just I'm a very like driven. I feel like I'm always like looking for the next thing to chase or go after. So even though sometimes it might kill some inspiration, having a deadline or some sort of extra pressure, it also can kind of help too because it, like I said, puts me in that extra gear.
Yeah. Well, that kind of gets into like the next question I had for you. It was going to be, what are some tips that you have for someone who's in their writer's block?
Yeah. So I guess with that, I've found that I'm not the guy to go like take a like I exercise every day. So for me to say what I'm about to say is I'm not the guy to go take a walk metaphorically to like clear my head. Like if I want to like work on music, I'm gonna sit down. I might sit on my phone for a little bit, but if I'm like I'm gonna set aside time to work on music, like I'm
Yeah.
gonna be sitting. Still gonna be sitting here, kind of picking through ideas. So for me, clearing my writer's block, it's just putting myself in the position to make stuff and just work through it. I know that's not always the best answer for everyone. That's just kind of how I work is just like sitting down and just digging into it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of working out, I kind of notice the more like you put yourself, even if it's just physical activity, whether it be going to a walk, on a walk, or whether it be going to
Yeah.
the gym, it actually, even though you think you're draining yourself, you're actually giving yourself more energy because once you're done with it, yes, you might feel a little bit drained, but you're kind of energized, and then you go and you knock out the things that you want to go do. So it's definitely very beneficial. Like you said, take a walk, do some physical activity. That's
Mhm.
definitely something that can help with your writer's block and get you out of that clouded zone that you're in, most definitely. So, with that being said, what are some helpful tips that you can give out to people, whether it be some plugins, whether it be some YouTube tutorials? What are some tips that you could tell people to check out?
Yeah. So I'd say first things first is what I kind of did was got my YouTube algorithm on my like on my explore page for my YouTube, just like hooked on music videos. So it was like when it first started, it's like, okay, I don't know what to do when I touch the DAW. So I'm just gonna watch other people that know how to do it.
Right.
Whether it was like Zen World, who's not even FL, to like people like Sonnet Sounds, who is FL. Just any video that popped up. Sometimes I would watch people who like were mixing down country tracks. I'd be like, okay, let's just see it. This guy, he seems like he knows what he's talking about. And I would like that any type of experience. If I was, if I was bored sitting around, I was like, I'll just watch another video to kind of learn, to kind of dive deeper in.
Yeah.
But then also it's just like that's only going to get you so far. Like if you could sit here and talk about it or like watch videos and understand it, you have to then go apply it. So getting excited once you see something like, oh, I never thought of that. Like going, sitting down and like trying to apply it and putting it to work in your own projects. And that's what I'd say the two biggest things I'd say were helpful for me at least.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And I will say too, YouTube is one of the most I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right.
You're
Resourceful
good. Yeah.
things that are at our fingertips, and we're all on our phones. We're all either on our laptops. It's definitely something that's very beneficial for you to write stuff down, to go ahead and do some tutorials and look stuff up, and give yourself that helping hand that we all need, especially if you're first starting out or you've already been in the game for a while. There's always something new that you can learn when it comes to production. Always something new. So, going out of the production side of things, you have a mix series on SoundCloud. It's called Let's Go Swimming. It features some of your friends and their IDs that aren't released yet to artists that you're really feeling. Give us some more insight on your mix series.
So yeah, so basically, like kind of like I was saying, I started DJing before I started really getting into producing. I remember a friend of mine at the time was doing a lot of mixes. We'd already been on SoundCloud forever, and once I saw that he was starting to do mixes, I was like, this is what we've always wanted to do, man. So I was like, I want to dive into this. I want to see if like I could make some stuff. You know, the first Let's Go Swimming was actually done just on a computer. So I DJ'd that with actual, it was virtual DJ, and
Mhm.
I just used like the mouse pad, and I literally sat there and I like mouse pad made a mix. So Let's Go Swimming one is gone like through like from one to where it is now at 11, like it's gone full circle. But yeah, so that took me through my whole journey into producing.
Right.
So I was really excited for 10. I was able to get some friends that I had never like. I got Delinquent, who I had met through making music, and he was the first person I ever had that had like his own tracks in a mix of mine, which was crazy to me. And I was like, I've always wanted to also get stuff like I wanted to be able to say like I could get my own music into my mix.
Yeah.
So then 11, I was able to get like not only my stuff in, but like you said, like I was able to get all my friends in. Like you were in it, obviously. Like all my boys are in it. Like it's littered with IDs, and it's just so cool that I can now make music, put it into a mix. Like the transformation from basically me DJing from a laptop to where it is now. Like if you told me that was going to happen, I wouldn't have believed you 5 or 6 years ago when I started. So it's been really uh, really rewarding for me to
Yeah.
just see it go how it's gone.
Yeah, absolutely. And networking. I preach
Yes.
it all the time because if you're not networking, you're not going to be able to make new connections. You're not going to be able to take your music to the next level of where you need it to be. So, like you're saying, you met Delinquent, you met
Mhm.
Dice, you met all
Yep.
these other people. And I'm sure that, and you're saying it's through music and stuff. And so that's what makes things very beneficial with this networking stuff. Where I'm going with this is you
Mhm.
have your tracks that you released with us. The first track was Running. The second
Yep.
track is Fill the Sub. That's out on the fourth chapter of the book club. What are you doing that you're getting these tracks to these artists such as Dr. Fresh and Wookie? For people who are like, look, I have tracks, but I don't have people to send it to. What are you doing personally to get this music to these people?
Yeah, I mean, so it's pretty much just being fearless in what you're doing. Kind of even if you don't like, even if you're not sure, what's it gonna hurt? Shooting something out there. At the very least, you can still, you know, like there's a lot of outlets that you can at least like begin to start showing your face, um, meeting people. I mean, you don't have to be like a world class anything to start meeting people. Delinquent was the one of the first people. Delinquent and Dice, one of the first people I made friends with, and I just reached out to them. I had nothing to really show for it. I'm like, hey, I love your stuff. I like here's something I've worked on before. Like, what do you guys like? Just throwing yourself out there. You never know who you're gonna like meet, and you like like everyone that I've met through this journey is like are what I would consider very good friends. So you really like just putting yourself out there is the biggest thing. Same with like trying to meet these big DJs. They're at the end of the day, they're people. If
Yeah.
you know if you're nice to people, you know if you treat people with respect and you know show your gratitude and love for people, like it goes a long way. And just being your genuine self to people, they can read that. At least I think so.
Yeah.
And to me, that's half the battle, is just putting yourself out there to meet new people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe you sent in running to our demo link, and
Mhm.
I remember hearing it for the first time, and I was like, yes, 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 yes. And the thing that I love the most about what you did when you submitted your music, and this is some tips for people who are watching this to get your music out there. Don't just send the link, make it
Yeah.
personal. You know, you gave a background to your track. You said, hey, it's been supported here, it's been supported there.
Mhm.
You know, you're actually like promoting your track. You're not just saying, hey, like, my name's
Yeah.
so and so, here's my track. Like, give me some more personality behind it, because like you're saying, you can reach out to people, but it's just like, it can be, you're just shooting your shot, and there's nothing bad that can happen from shooting your shot. All you get is pretty much left on red. And I mean, from the
Yeah.
music industry, I mean, it hurts, but it's not as bad as it could be out there in the world, most definitely. So just keep shooting your
Mhm.
shot, absolutely. And
Absolutely.
network, 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 and network.
Mhm.
So random questions, these are just some
Yeah.
random questions I have for you. All right,
Shoot 'em. Okay.
Brian gets stranded on an island. He gets to get three things. He gets to bring three things with him, minus food and water. What are the three things you're bringing?
Okay. My girlfriend, so
Okay.
she stuck with me too. So I'll annoy her till one of us jumps in the water or something.
Right.
Um, I guess I would also have to bring probably my Switch, as I do still love video games, even
Right.
though a lot of music has been replaced from what a lot of video games used to play. I still love playing my Switch handheld games, just
Mhm.
sitting wherever playing video games. Um, and then let's just go like a bed or a couch. I feel like that's probably something that would have gotten overlooked by most people.
Oh,
I need
yeah.
something to sleep on. I can't be
True.
sleeping on the sand or the whatever
Um,
part of the side, like whatever terrain is on the side. I'm gonna be posting up on a bed.
So all
So
you need is your girlfriend, your Nintendo Switch, and a
yeah,
bed, and you're set, and you're good to go.
I guess so. Yeah,
It's the simple things in life, huh? It's the very simple things. I love to
I
hear.
guess so.
Okay, so what are some of your go-to snacks?
Okay, so go-to snacks. I'm a Pop Tart fiend. I eat Pop Tarts all the time. I probably shouldn't.
Hot
There's
fudge,
no
hot fudge
nutritional.
sundae is my favorite, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, what's
I
yours?
mean, I like them all, but I'm a OG brown sugar cinnamon guy, or just the regular strawberry. I
Ends is
know, I know.
mean.
I mean,
Do
brown
you
sugar
toast
cinnamon's
it? Do you
kind of boring
toast yours,
though.
or do you just eat them raw?
I eat them raw now, but actually, what's funny, I've never met anybody that else has who else has done this. When we were kids, we would not only toast them, but we would put butter on them, which is like
Oh,
that's like, yeah, that
sounds
it
good
tasted
though.
good, but like,
Sounds good.
they're already like they're already not the best for you. So then throwing a slab of butter on it probably not help me now.
Well, the saying is, the more butter, the more better. And that's
It's very
exactly
true.
that is absolutely the truth. Okay, so you like Pop Tarts. What's something else?
Big cheese it guy. If I'm in an airport and I have a wall of snacks, I'm probably taking like the Ziploc bag, like the big Ziploc of Cheez-Its. You
Gotcha.
can't go wrong with that. I feel like, in my
No.
opinion, definitely, once again, not a ton of nutritional value. I probably should have went like a Cliff Bar or something to, sustain myself, if that's my airplane snack, like I'm saying now. But
Okay.
but yeah, no, big bag of Cheez-Its, or just Cheez-Its in general. Love them.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself to be more of a spicy person or a sweet person when it comes to food?
Definitely spicy. I never used to be, but now, if I'm home, I put hot sauce in everything. I have like a whole drawer in my fridge just filled with various different hot sauces.
There you
So
go.
even
Okay.
if it doesn't call for it, I'm putting hot sauce on.
I'm putting it on there with a slap of butter.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that.
Both
So
of those make things taste better.
being friends on social media, I've been
Mhm.
seeing that you have been traveling, you have been on vacation. I feel like you're Mr. Worldwide. That passport is filled up at this point. Tell us about your last, what is it, one or two vacations that you went on over this past month?
Yeah, I mean, I've been quite cooped up from the previous year, so I was like, we're gonna just, if people ask us to do things, we're gonna say yes. We'll figure it out later. I'll explain one that was kind of funny. I don't know if you got. I don't think I was able to tell you this yet, but so we went to Nashville, and we were like very hungover this Saturday to take our flight. We had like an 8 p.m. flight on Saturday, and we're like, we cannot do this. Me and Alice, my girlfriend, were like, we can't do this flight. $60. We can move it up, and it's one connector. We'll get home by 8. It's like, let's do that. It was like a one stop in Georgia, and in midair they canceled the flight home to Baltimore, so we got stuck in Georgia till Monday, which ended up being like so yeah. So I was like, I'm dying. I need to come home. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so hungover. I just want to lay in my bed, and then I'm like stranded in Savannah, Georgia until that Monday. So yeah. So that was also connected to one of my recent vacations, but Savannah was actually awesome if you ever get stranded there in a connecting flight in their really tiny airport.
In a really tiny airport. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. I can't say
not
that
bad.
I know a lot of stuff that's going on in Georgia or Nashville, but you know, it's definitely places to check out. I know there's a big music
Yeah,
scene out in Nashville. I don't know about Georgia so much, but definitely in Nashville, I know that they're from the videos I was watching and you
yeah.
posting them up on your story and stuff. Looks like you guys were having a good time out there, throwing a few back.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
that's always a good time. And not only that, you got to unwind too. You know, everyone's been cooped up over the past year, so I'm right there with
very
you. So
true.
hey, let's do something. Let's do it. So I completely understand that.
Absolutely.
To wrap things up, is there anything
Mhm.
that you would like to promote or anyone you would like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just obviously come sport book club for a lot, or my track Feel the Sub's going to be on there, as well as a ton of great friends. Matt's on there, it's banger. Everyone on there has an absolute banging track on there. So obviously support book club 4. I've got a track in the works with Bite This that I'm currently working through,
Nice.
waiting for some stuff to finalize, but fingers crossed on that. And then obviously, want you guys to check out my Let's Go Swimming series. Like Matt said, it's got a lot of my friends. It's a good mix. I think you guys should check out. And if you wanted any taste of what I've got coming up, as well as what my friends have coming up, definitely check out Let's Go Swimming 11 on my SoundCloud.
There
So
we
yep.
go. Well, you heard it from him first. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Storytime Spotlight. My name is Matt Campbell. We're here with FACH. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks again, Matt.